and Inacio's situation just keeps getting worse. You know those MCs, funk artists and all, who were arrested in a federal police operation, and the owner of Choke, it's being talked about a lot all over social media. Now they've found a video of the funk artist, right, inviting Lula to a barbecue. You owe me the picanha, huh, Lula? You owe me the picanha. Man, things just keep getting better, and for Lula, worse. In the middle of all this, we can see he's got nothing to do with it, right? Just taking off. Look, Flavino, right, now next to Pablo Marçal, went to a construction site. Right, guys? Whether you like Pablo Marçal or not, he's going to help Flávio a lot in this campaign. That's a fact, if Flávio chose him. As an ally, Flávio knows what he's doing. At least that's how I see it. And look here. Pablo is already taking Flávio everywhere he went during the 2024 campaign.
Yeah, there's corruption everywhere. People who work end up being called fools, right? And the ones who are scheming are considered smart, right? Everything's upside down in this country. So Pablo here is a brother, a friend too.
See?
Yeah, he's giving me the tips, right, Pablo? We supported him when he ran for mayor. Man, he's the guy now.
Now's the time, right?
What did you say? Say it, you'll get locked up in there. Let's go, amen, with faith in God.
Amen.
The other one is over there setting up the innocent. Yeah, the other one over there just framing the innocent. He said he needed to listen, huh? First, thank you for building Brazil. You people here at Bailey's Saw Building inspire us. Let me say I really think it inspires.
So,
Flávio is an entrepreneur, Flávio is a lawyer, Flávio is also a legislator, and Flávio is making himself a target. You know his father. We'll take a lot of hits, but that's why we're here, right?
for sure.
To survive and build a better country for everyone. I also have 2 little daughters. Are you a father?
Me too. Which one is my child? We do.
Is that so?
Inside the construction site.
He always does.
Every day I pass by here. Look.
Hey, Marcelo, I tell the guys like, man, stop yelling Marcelo's name for God's sake. Hey, Marcelo.
Marcelo, we're in this together.
You who's watching, you who work in construction, you who are a bricklayer, a helper, an engineer, you're here? Look. Hugs to all of you. Thanks for working hard to build this country.
It depends.
The country relies heavily on you. Thank you. We appreciate your efforts.
It's important, my friends. The more support we have, the better. And look here, okay? Flávio knows what he's doing, right? Look, they gather here. This car is my wife's. I gave it to her.
Had you ever ridden in a Spectre before?
No, I didn't even know these guys existed.
Rolls-Royce Spectrum.
Manson's wheel. Look, Tarcísio spoke the truth here, okay? That left the PT supporter. The PT crowd in despair. I'm sure Flávio will be the next president. And don't be surprised if this election ends in the first round. Tarcísio, oh, he's an ally and all that. Tarcísio has high approval ratings here in São Paulo. He's doing a good job. He's doing a wonderful job. Can you see the difference? You just have to be honest, not steal, and popularity will come. Tarcísio has approval from almost 70% of the people here in São Paulo. And since it's the most populous state in the country, unfortunately, you have a mass of PT supporters. But he has 70% approval, look at that. New poll for governor of São Paulo. Tarcísio could win in the first round. Everyone who's really on the people's side is there. Look, they're way ahead. And more, look, check this out. You'll see. Election. A poll came out here in the state of São Paulo today. Today, Instituto Paraná Pesquisa. Look at the data, the most populous state in the country. Flávio already has 39.3% in the first round. Lula, 36%. In the second round, it's 48% against Lula's 40%. Okay? So, in other words, my friends, if we work properly, we'll be able to achieve our goals and win. This thing is tough, especially because we're dealing with people who need this kind of person for support. Because it's obvious, right? Lula is not going to look for honest people to support him. This level, the guy was just arrested. A scheme that the United States Navy intercepted. If it weren't for the United States Navy, we would still have no idea that this guy here and Lula's funk artists were working behind the scenes of this political operation. It was thanks to the United States Navy. Look how much we have to thank them for. It was the United States Navy that intercepted it and found that this guy here was laundering money. It was here, right? I already showed it on Claudio Dantas. Check there. Gossip-driven engagement was used as a front to move 1,600,000,000 reais in 2 years, right during the period when Lula is governing, right? The discovery of money laundering came in the wake of the seizure of 4 tons of white powder by the United States Navy. They were the ones who intercepted it. Because it's not normal. He said here, the guy said here that he makes 400,000, that his salary is 400,000. That's a lie. That's a lie. They flaunted cars worth 2, 3 million, mansions worth 5, 10 million, crazy stuff. I showed it here. He flaunted money on the internet, mocked, grabbed piles and piles and piles of money. Especially him here. Look. Who received a request of 270,000 reais, okay? 270,000 reais from this one here, look. From this guy here, look. This pro-Lula funk singer here, look. He gave PT to Ryan, Radal's Pose, and Show K. The guy's inviting Lula to the barbecue, see? Asking Lula for the barbecue. Where's my barbecue, Lula? Where's my picanha, huh? Look at the language these guys are using. Look, my God, it's indecent, right?
Yeah, Lula, barbecue for you, huh, Lula? All right, hey.
Everyone chooses what they want to be, and I am Lula, damn it. Just a chat, and whoever's with me sings like this, look.
Just a chat, just a chat. These guys want him to be the big shot. Man, but I want to know what Lula's gonna say here, huh? Did you pay for the steak for him, Lula?
He won, yeah. Hey, Lula.
Is there any comparison? Is there any comparison? Lula with Flávio with these personalities here. There isn't, my friends. There isn't. The person has to be, look, very out of it to think that a guy who joins forces with those people who are now in jail moved 260, 360 billion reais. 260 billion. 3% of Brazil's GDP was what these guys laundered for organized crime. And then they don't want the United States to come and interfere here. Of course they don't. It's impressive what we're witnessing. Impressive. All of this is often aided by these characters, right? Davi Alcolumbre called the ministers today. He called the ministers, cursing the senators, calling them crazy, calling them freeloaders for having indicted them, right? Zandon, Gilmar, Gone, and Toffoli. Things are not going well for them, not at all. Not even Bulos can lie on Globo anymore, plain and simple. He tried to say that the so-called blouse tax was from the right. It was from the legislature. Not even Globo, and I'm not talking about that journalist there, who usually always argues with PT. I'm talking about Andre. Even the other journalist, Flávia Guimarães, I think that's her name.
Minister, I'd like to ask, changing the subject here, about the so-called blouse tax. We're also seeing a debate about this within the government. Yesterday, Geraldo Alckmin, acting president and vice president, said that there is no government decision to revoke the import tax, but João did a report saying that the government is considering revoking the measure. Is it going to happen?
Look, Sadi, that's a decision for President Lula. It's possible that it will happen. The Blucinhas tax, it's important to say, was not an initiative of the government.
What a liar. They lie openly. The government wasn't behind it. It wasn't.
The ones who imposed the Blucinhas tax were the parliament, due to pressure and, let's be clear, lobbying from big retail companies. This is often seen as an industry issue, but it's not about the national industry since big retailers like Havan are involved.
These companies, people mention Luciano Hang, but they don't talk about Magazine Luiza, which is making money from this, because they're the ones who can resell.
Retailers, they take the same little Chinese blouse made in China and sell it in their stores, but they want to be able to sell it in their stores for a higher price than online retailers like Shein, Shopee, and others. So, these companies put pressure on the parliament and the Bluesienhaus tax was established. Of course, in the end, the president took the blame.
But then it's possible that the government will revoke the tax.
As I said, this decision is for President Lula. It's reasonable the government could, after internal discussions and alignment, and the president...
They're such liars, because what could Lula do? Oh, so it was Congress. He went there and revoked it. He went there, just went there and revoked it. It's that simple. Now that things are tough, they want to blame it on someone. I'm surprised they haven't blamed Bolsonaro yet.
Even a hammer to repeal such a measure.
This one is one of the most fervent PT supporters at Globo. Not even she could cover up for Lula.
Lula approved this law passed by Congress, which is notable since he vetoed other legislation in whole or in part. So this responsibility is shared, and we even know that the Federal Revenue Service also advocated for a tax, especially because of the fragmentation of orders, evasion, and tax evasion involved in those import processes. This ensures blame doesn't rest solely on the legislative branch, since the president and government also approved it.
And with something positive,
which was the defense of national jobs. Sorry, Octavio.
the government's claim at the time was that it was defending jobs in Brazil.
No, the government enacted a law approved by Parliament. I'm not saying the government isn't responsible for enacting it, just that it didn't initiate the law.
No. Man, guys, the left. It's rotten. They lie to your face, with no shame at all. With no shame at all. But there it is, look. Will you call this a lie too? The funk singer calling out to Lula. Where's my barbecue, my steak, Lula? Steak! Steak!
Yeah.
Barbecue, steak, steak. I want to see Lula bring them cigarettes in jail. I want to see Lula bring them cigarettes in jail. Do you guys think he has the guts? I wouldn't put anything past Lula, not at all. If they were gonna help Lula bring in votes now, especially, right? I think Lula won't want their support at this moment. He won't want them using his social media, which he lost anyway, to campaign for him. Okay? I doubt that Lula would go there to bring cigarettes, but if there were any influence to be had now, you can be sure that Lula would do it. Lula never does anything without an ulterior motive. He never does anything without a reason. Right? And every day it's more obvious who's who in politics. And nothing is working out. Not even in the most populous state. Flávio is way ahead, thank God, in the first round and in the runoff. It went badly for all those guys there. These guys lie right to your face. Right there, to your face. They try to fool us, right? Saying it was the legislature that approved the cheap clothes tax. Lula and Haddad, desperate, ordered taxes on everyone, with Janja trying to hide it. They claimed the tax was for companies, not consumers, as if companies wouldn't just pass it on. Man, hit that like button, come be part of our family. Subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and leave your comment here. Big hug to all, stay with God, see you next video, thanks, I'm out.